Hello, welcome back to my AWS tutorial 2. So this is a playlist of AWS tutorial 2. In this playlist I have 3 videos. So in my first video I will explain about the Route 53. Then in my second video I will explain about the Amazon S3, and in my third video I will explain about the CloudFront. So let's get started. Now the agenda of this videos is like explaining and understanding the basics of domain names and the records, and then we will learn like what is the Route 53. Then after that I can take you into the Amazon S3. Then once after Amazon S3, then I will explain you about CloudFront. So now just quickly start by understanding the basics of DNS. DNS is the domain name systems, and it has some records. So let me explain what is DNS. DNS is a domain name system which translates the human friendly host names into the machine IP addresses. So if you take a look into the www.google.com, so it will translate the host name www.google.com into an machine IP address, that is 172.217.18.36. And also this DNS is something, it's a backbone of the internet, and DNS uses the hierarchical naming structures like .com, like example.com, like www.rajkumarmanala.org. Like it will use these different kinds of hierarchical naming structures. Now in the DNS, if you take a look into the DNS terminologies, the domain name register, which is the Amazon Route 53, GoDaddy, or we have like several other domain names like Netlify and Vercel servers. We can buy our like domain name from these websites. And also we have like four different kinds of DNS records. One is A, and the other one is AAAA, and the other one is CNAME and NS. And the in DNS terminologies, we have the zone file which contains the DNS records, and the zone file is something, but it's like a fully qualified like the domain name FQDN. And also the name servers which resolves the DNS queries like authoritative or like the non-authoritative DNS queries, like when we sign in into our mail ID, which is an authoritative DNS query. When we open a YouTube, it is a non-authoritative DNS query. And the other one is like the top level domain. The top level domain is like TLD, which is the .com, .us, .in, .gov, which is the government website, and .org, which is the organizational website, and .edu, which is the educational website. And the second level domain, which is SLD. Here we can call it as a Amazon.com, Flickr.com, Google.com, any other like second level domains. And now if you look into the HTTP, if you look into my website here, the HTTP is a protocol. We have different kinds of protocol. One is HTTP hypertext transfer protocol, HTTPS hypertext transfer protocol secure. And also the sub level domain is API dot, from like two forward slash API dot is the subdomain name. And then after we have www dot, which is the world wide website, and the rajkumarmanala.com, which is the second level domain. Rajkumarmanala.com is the second level domain, and the other one is top level domain is .com, and last period is the root of the DNS. So this is all about the DNS terminologies. Now I will go to the second one, which is the Route 53. So here The Route 53 is something which is a domain register. So what it will do is like it will register your domain name. So as previously mentioned, DNS is something which will take the host name and it will convert it into an machine IP addresses to understand it to as an machine IP addresses. So this Amazon Route 53, what it will do is like it will register the domain name like rajkumarmanala.com. Then when a client queries about rajkumarmanala.com, then Amazon will return that as 52.54.22.33.44, which is the IP address of this particular domain name. And this IP address is given to the client, and the client will take that public IP address from an EC2 instance, which is in the AWS cloud. And the only AWS service which provides 100% availability SLA is the Route 53. This is the only one AWS resource which will provide like the 100% availability SLA, which is service level agreement in AWS resources, that is Route 53. And also like we have this different types of different DNS terminologies. They called as in record types in Route 53, where A, which maps an host name to an IPv4, let's say rajkumarmanala.com, is converted into an IP address like in the previous slide 54.22.33.44. And also 4A maps the hostname into an IPv6 version. The IPv6 version is something which is the advanced version of the IP addresses, which are like currently not completely used, but in coming days we are going to use the IP version 6. And then after the CNAME, which maps the host name to another host name. Let's say if I want to map this rajkumarmanala.com to another host name, then I can do it as raj.rajkumarmanala.com by using the CNAME. And the target is a domain name which must have an A or AAA record. That's the main domain name. Under that we can have the CNAME as a subdomain name. We cannot create a CNAME record for the top node of DNS namespace. And also like we cannot create a a domain name as rajkumarmanala.com, but we can create it as an www.rajkumarmanala.com. And also NS is nothing but an name servers for hosted zone and control how traffic is routed for a domain. So we have like the different types of routing policies in Route 53. One of them is simple weighted failover latency based geolocation and geoproximity. Whereas simple routing policy, it's nothing but like routing a traffic to a single resource or like a multiple resources by routing a traffic. And whereas weighted routing policy is like controlling the percentage of requests that will go to each specific resource. Let's say if I have 8 instances of EC2, so this weighted resource will distribute the traffic into 8 of those instances equally based upon the request. And also failover is something when any one of the instance in 8 of those resources is failed, then the traffic will be distributed in 7 of those resources. And the latency based is something which will like redirect the resources that has the least latency close to US. And the geolocation, this is something the routing is based on the user location, and also the geo proximity is route traffic to your resources based on the geographical location of users and resources. So this is all about the Route 53.